How's it going, crypto community? Jade back with another XRP TA video. Sorry about that. So in this one, we're going to look at what's going on with XRP's price because we are in a rather interesting place, and I keep hitting my table, causing, I'm sure, a booming sound in the mic. So try and avoid doing that. Anyways, to hop in here, looking at the weekly to start, right? We see that XRP is actually sitting just above its 50-week moving average, right? So we crashed below it briefly yesterday, but that was just a wick on the weekly, so it's irrelevant, and we're far, far above it again. So we're still continuing to be very bullish on the weekly trend. Coming into the daily, we had, as anybody that watched the TA that I did last night, right before the close came through, I said, hey, if we close below, it's not going to be the worst thing, as long as we bounce back. And in that TA, I believe I said that, I want to see basically a bounce back up to the 46-cent range. But after actually charting out the prices and what most likely is going to occur, I think we're going to need to retrace back to 43 cents first. I think we might hit resistance there on the daily for today, which will put us, then we'll have another day or so where we're going to have a chance to grow back above beyond that. But I'm expecting that this is going to form 3 white knights, to be honest. So as long as this candle gets up here, and if it pushes above the 43 cent towards, say, the 44 cent range, that would be really bullish, even if it retraces back down and closes back at the 43, just to have that wick up there. That would be encouraging for the following day to see an attempt to return to that. And if we attempted to return to that, then we could get our second, white knight here on the daily that would close somewhere around the 46 cent range, essentially. And again, if we got a wick on that, that'd be a sign for continuation into a third white knight, which would put us right in range for a massive rally off of. So that is speculative, of course, assuming that we have actually bottomed here. Now, we have seen a pretty strong bounce coming back above now 3 layers of what could have become resistance really easily, right? When we fell below 39 cents just briefly, it was for less than a minute, I believe, even. We'll come down here into the hourly, break down the hourly, what's going on, right? So to go back to our, we'll stay here on our plunge right here, right? So our plunge was just within 1 hour wick, and again, I think it only lasted for about a minute that we actually broke below 39 cents into 38. On here on Bitstamp, it went down to 38.8, 38.7. Now, it did go down to 33 cents on Binance, which suggests that a whale actually dumped on Binance, and that's what caused the degree of the sell-off that we saw on Binance. So, but Binance's sell was weird. It was unique to itself. It didn't happen anywhere else. It was only on Binance. So it was definitely whales trying to sink the price down lower to buy up even cheaper, as I'm sure many of them did. However, on every other exchange, the price seemed to bottom at 39, tickling just into 38 cent range, but obviously nowhere low in 38. And so we're seeing ourselves we saw ourselves project off of the 618 on the Fibonacci, which is the border between this darker blue region and this lighter blue region. Essentially, it's a technical range. So for those of you who are not familiar with Fibonacci's, the colors that you are seeing are broken down by ranges which the price is most likely to trade based upon ranges which the price has traded historically. So, assuming that makes sense, the idea is that XRP is now trading just within the 618, which is a higher than the median range. The median range is 0.5, right? That's where the price is at its most neutral, essentially, at least as far as like the overall formation that it's in, right? So the 618 is just above the 0.5, and it's a good sign to be bouncing off of that, especially based upon our historical trend where we have only been above the 0.5 since the 13th of May, right? When we got this initial run up all the way up to 48 cents, and then we consolidated for, you know, what has been nearly 2 months now. Well, a month rather, sorry. Month and a half, you know, whatever. At any rate, so this consolidation, we are now seeing ourselves bottoming even higher than the 0.5, which we did touch down again to after our run up, our initial run up to 48 cents, right? But with each of these times that we've consolidated, let me get my pen over here. So with each time that we've consolidated, we've set higher lows, right? So as long as we're setting a higher low here, we could just watch the price even sit kind of flat. You know, maybe it will do similar to what it did in the previous wave, right? Where it comes up, it tests this 46-cent range, and then it's going to break down, and then it's going to try and come back down all the way down here, even to the 41 even, right? But as long as we bounce back around the 41 there, from the 41, then we can expect continuation. And that's where things can get exponential very quickly. Now, this is saying that this isn't going to occur, you know, just this little draw up here that means literally nothing, just so everybody knows as far as time frame, right? Even though this is following a similar pattern, this could take far longer, or it could happen far quicker. That's the thing when it comes to technical analysis. There are different ways which a pattern can break that create different types of trends as far as how long or how short certain things can occur, right? That's why you have to always be paying attention to the subtle changes that occur, because that's going to give you an idea of, okay, is this being delayed, or is this pattern going to form, the overall pattern going to form out far quicker? And they're nearly impossible things to project. That's why I don't give you dates for anything occurring, right? When I do, I give you elaborate explanations that, you know, this date of July 7th is not anything to be taken seriously. It's just a little draw up to show how quickly it could happen, that we could break above 50 cents again, to be clear. But again, it just depends on how the market overall feels. How right am I depends upon how you and all other traders in the XRP ecosystem feel in regards to the current price. Should it be higher? If it should be higher, you should be buying, right? Well, at least that's how the mentality should work if we are in a bull market. If we're in a bear market, then we're going to, or even a sideways market, we're going to see the price just trend sideways or trend down. Now, I think that if nothing else, we're at least in a sideways market, and so the price might grow relatively slowly. That said, based upon the rate that it has taken us to grow each of these other periods, you'll notice that there's actually a larger time frame between the May 15th peak and the May 30th peak than there is between the May 30th peak and the June 22nd, right? June 22nd was when we actually peaked up at 50, just over 51 cents, almost 52. So what could happen is this climb could, if we're seeing an elongation of this process, right? This could take nearly 2 months to get back up, just based upon the fact that it's taken longer each time before. Now, what this means is that the price is going to get back up to 50 cents, but the RSI down here, this orange bar, which we're going to make a little bit larger and zoom in so that we can actually have a better look here, right? So the RSI down here, what happened in this scenario is it's going to stay low even though the price is growing. And then what's going to happen when we hit the 50 cents, if this is the scenario that plays out, right? And there's no institutional volume that comes flooding in behind this, what's going to happen is our RSI is going to remain near the 45 to 50 range when we hit this peak resistance around 50 cents. When we break that 50 cent with a low RSI, that's going to trigger a rally, and that's going to send the RSI through the roof along with the price. Now, where does that go to? Probably $1. That seems to be the most likely candidate for our first major resistance that we will hit after we break 50 cents, because especially after waiting for 2 months for the build up to it, that will facilitate so much excitement that we break it again, that it will definitely be broken for good, and we will test 50 cents potentially after that. We won't, you know, we're going to go so high up that at some point in the future, assuming the rally doesn't continue immediately from there, the price could come back down to 50 cents. Or it may see a rapid correction to 50 and then a rapid acceleration back up to norm, wherever that might be. 75 cents, 80, who knows? I'm speculating now, right? As this whole video has been speculation. But some people like to have these kinds of videos, you know, breaking things down for them. Sometimes it makes people a little more comfortable. Listen, we're all here for the long haul. At least that's the purpose of my channel here. I'm here to show you the bigger picture for XRP, not being focused on the day-to-day price action. But I know that when the price is down, it scares a lot of people. So what I like to encourage everybody is focus on your entry plan, because again, this is a young market. This is a speculative market still, but the technologies and the companies that are developing upon XRP's ecosystem are second to none, and they're tapping into the largest pools of liquidity in the world. So we can take a high degree of confidence that with time, this asset is going to see a dramatic price increase due to all the fundamentals that we are watching develop every day on the world stage. As these fundamentals finally come into effect with these payment corridors from institutions like MoneyGram and so on and so forth coming online, we're going to see the price rapidly increase. The volumes are going to go up dramatically, and that's going to snuff out all the bears. There will not be bear volume because they're going to sell into floors that are rock hard, because there's so much volume underneath of it that it just devours the bear sell orders, and that's what's going to allow the price to begin to grow. How rapidly it grows from that, it's hard to say, right? But it's going to grow, and it's going to grow to very high values over time as the market matures. Now, that is assuming that all things go hunky-dory in the next few years of the global economy. Again, nobody knows, right? So, I hope you have enjoyed this deep dive TA look, I guess, as far as what's going on with XRP right now. As I always like to say, dollar cost average, buy the dips. We're long-term investors here on this channel. That's how you want to be operating. Whenever you see the price go down, that's when you want to be like, ooh, well, I was thinking about getting a little bit more. These are the moments that you want to get more, when the price is down, when there's blood in the streets. If you are not in XRP to make a long-term profit, even if you are a short-term trader, common knowledge, buy low, sell high. The price is low right now. The decision is obvious for both short and long-term holders, at least based upon the current market dynamics, which are still, even after this dump, still very bullish, right? So I hope you've all enjoyed this. As always, if you're new, hit that subscribe and ring that bell so you can stay up to date with all my latest XRP related content. Otherwise, hit that like on your way out so that YouTube can pump these up in the algorithms and everybody can know that it's time to buy XRP before the price goes through the roof. How long does that take? Once again, nobody knows. But as always, I've been Jade. You've been watching The Martian Report, and I can't wait to see all of you in my next video on Mars.